All right, welcome back. Now, the first story on that top 5 at 7 is Senate approves appointment of Professor Amopitan as INEC chairman. The Nigerian Senate has approved the appointment of Professor Josh Amopitan's son as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC. Professor Amopitan was confirmed on Thursday after an over 2-hour section fielding questions from lawmakers on Thursday in plenary. Professor Amopitan also informed the Senate about the likelihood of introducing a whistle-blowing policy during his tenure to report irregularities in elections.
Okay, moving on to other stories, we have court declares Nnamdi Kanu fit and orders defense to open case for his trial. The Nigerian Medical Association submitted its medical report on the health status of Biafra Nation agitator Nnamdi Kanu to the Federal High Court in Abuja at the resumption of proceedings. Justice James Omotosho confirmed the receipt of the report, which was filed on October 13, 2025 and served on all parties. The prosecution, led by Adegboyega Awomolu-San, reminded the court that the report followed an earlier order for an independent assessment of Kanu's health condition. Defense counsel Kanu Agabi admitted receiving the report and said it had been reviewed.
All right, we also have federal government says presidential pardon still under review. The federal government has clarified that no inmate has been released under the recent presidential prerogative of mercy exercise, noting that the process is still undergoing final administrative review. President Bola Tinubu recently granted a pardon to Sir Herbert Macaulay as well as 174 others following approval by the Council of State. Among the beneficiaries are notable figures such as Ken Saro-Wiwa, the environmental activist, and Major General Maman Vasa, who was executed in 1986 for alleged coup plotting. The pardon list also includes Mayam Sanda, who was sentenced to death in 2020, and for killing a husband, and all the inmates whose sentences were commuted or reduced, and ex-convicts deemed eligible by the Presidential Advisory Committee on the prerogative of mercy.
Also, we have federal government Google unveil AI training for civil servants. The federal government launched an artificial intelligence training program for public servants in partnership with Google as part of effort to transform governance and improve service delivery in Nigeria. The initiative, which was unveiled in Abuja, was anchored on the Apolitical Government AI Campus, a global hub for AI excellence in government supported by Google. It is delivered through the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy with the aim of equipping civil servants and government leaders with the skills required to adopt and apply AI in daily operations.
And going around the world, we have M15 chief frustrated over collapse of China's spy case. Chinese state operative present a daily national security threat to the UK, the head of M15, Sir Ken McCallum, has said. In a speech, he said M15 had intervened operationally to disrupt Chinese activity of national security concerns in the past week. Addressing a row over the collapse of a case involving alleged spying on behalf of China in the UK, Sir Ken said the alleged activity was restructured by M15 and it was frustrating when prosecutions fall through. The government and the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, are facing questions over the collapse of the case.
Also, Netanyahu determined to pressure Hamas to find remaining dead hostages. Israel's prime minister told a memorial for victims of the Hamas-led attack on 7 October 2023 that he is determined to secure the return of the dead hostages still in Gaza and that the country will continue to fight terrorism with full force. Benjamin Netanyahu made the comments hours after Hamas returned the bodies of 2 more hostages, but said it was not able to access the remaining 19. There has been fury in Israel that Hamas has not returned all the bodies in line with last week's Gaza ceasefire deal, though the US has downplayed the suggestion it amounts to a breach. And that's all we have for you today on Top 5 at 7.